Now we shift over to a team that's kind of lying in the weeds here. Obviously, 3 straight years of improvement under Brad Stevens, who's terrific. Did they do enough to close the gap and get a little closer to the Celtics? Well, to the Cavs. They brought in Al Horford, who's good, but is he enough? Let's find out. Part of the broadcast team, Cedric Maxwell, good player back in the day as well. Late 70s, his career started, ran into the late 80s, won a title with the Celtics, and Cornbread is with us here on Tiki and Tierney. Cedric, how you been, buddy? What's happening?
I'm doing fine, gentlemen. I'll start out by saying, no, they haven't done enough right now to get to where the Cleveland Cavaliers are.
All right, good. We're talking the same language. We don't like homers, and we know that Cornbread brings it the right way because he's absolutely right. They did not do enough here. And I wonder, Cedric, with all the assets that Danny Ainge has, we reference it all the time, a boatload of picks, a boatload of money. Yeah, Horford's a good starting point. But why is it an unwillingness to part with the assets or just the inability to strike the right deal?
Well, I think it's the inability to strike the right deal. I don't think you make a deal for deal's sake because you don't know what those assets might be. If you're Brooklyn right now and you're the Celtics and you have their pick for the next couple of years, and you said Brooklyn could be really, really bad, you're looking at the possibility of being 2 number 1 picks by being patient. If you do the wrong thing and go out and get rid of this deal and make this deal quickly and try to, in the short term, look good or try to appease your fans, you might hurt yourself in the long run. So I think the patient posture of Danny Ainge and the Celtics right now and the steady pace, like the tortoise and the hare, is the best one right now.
Yeah. It's interesting, Cedric, when I think about how the Boston Celtics are constructed, they're young, and now Al Horford is 30. He signs there. Obviously, he believes in the future, and something's going to happen that's going to put him in a position to win a championship. That would be the conventional thought. But there's also the thought that the East is the Cavs for the next couple of years. So this window for them might not be open yet. Is that frustrating as a player? You're a little bit older. You got a young team around you. You're brought there specifically to help those young guys grow, and the championship's not coming for 3 years.
Well, I think he looked at Atlanta and said which way they're going. It looks like Atlanta's going downhill. So why not go to a team of young players with assets and you don't know what could possibly happen? We don't know what happens next year if the draft is a tremendous draft and you have one of those studs coming out of Duke, next year and you got a chance to pick him at number 1. So there's a bunch of things right now that can happen. Mm-hmm. If you're an older player, coming to a team and, you think about winning championships. But as you know, a championship isn't for everybody.
You're right.
In the NBA or in the NFL.
Yeah,
or
sometimes it just doesn't happen.
The great players, have not won. Charles Barkley on TV all the time. Never won a championship. Doesn't know it. Chris Webber didn't win one. A lot of guys haven't won it, and it won't happen, but, put yourself in the best position to try to win one.
Mm-hmm. Stockton, Malone, Ewing, it's a long list, no doubt. Even Iverson more recently, talking to Cedric Maxwell, Cornbread, part of the Celtics broadcast team. Now, this is when I got into the NBA, just based on my age. Right around when you guys were dominant, you were at the tail end of your career, but obviously Bird, McHale, and the great Celtics teams, Dennis Johnson, may rest in peace. And I think, a lot of current NBA fans who grew up, maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s, it's a totally different game. I mean, there was video, and I remember this, when Parrish and Lane Beer, Parrish actually punches Lane Beer, let him get thrown out of the game, which is awesome. The game's changed so much, and I'm very curious, because you mentioned Charles Barkley. He seems a little petty, in my opinion, the way he's assessing Kevin Durant's move to the Warriors. Your old-school demeanor, do you begrudge players for chasing championships rather than letting it happen organically, or are you okay with the new means of business in the NBA?
Well, I think there's 2 rules of thought here, and I don't dodge anything. I didn't really like it with Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett. Kevin Durant did. And the reason I say that is because I view him as a leader. Now, if somebody just beats you up, all of a sudden you say, dude, I want to be in your game. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. I don't particularly like that. Now, does he have the opportunity? Is it his choice to do it? Absolutely. 100% is his choice. But if you're asking me if I like it, I'm not a big fan in this case, considering the team you're going to won 73 games last year.
Yeah.
And, and you're not coming there. Is this going to be your team? You're one of the faces of the NBA, or you coming to be among the, 3 or 4 guys who are there? It's going to be a tremendous thing to watch them play. But, I'm a little, flexed right now when it comes to him going to the other team.
No, I hear you, and in large part, I totally agree with you. But, the one thing that I think is getting missed with Durant, the fact that he is willing, at least on paper, to take a secondary role to Curry or Klay Thompson on certain nights, obviously Draymond Green, shouldn't we kind of, and again, I'm with you, but I'm just trying to see it from both sides, shouldn't we praise him for being selfless? Because a lot of guys, if they're not getting 20-plus shots a night, they ain't happy.
Yeah, I mean, selfless in the fact that you're going to a team that can extend your career. Because one thing you're doing, if you're the best player in the world, and this is whatever, football, baseball, whatever it is, you want pressure on your shoulders. That's what those leagues are built on. What you're doing, if you're Kevin, you're taking that pressure off your shoulders, because now you're saying, look, I'm going to the clown car full of players. Right now I was the MVP. I'm going right now that I had the unanimous MVP. So, I just don't see it in that way. Again, I'm not a hater.
Okay.
I'm a congratulator, but I just don't like that.
Well, understood. Pretty much, again, I'm with you. Talking to Cedric Maxwell, Celtics radio team. He's with us here on Tiki and Tierney.
Hey, Cedric, we know one of the deciding factor, potential deciding factors, it wasn't, was Al Horford trying to go to OKC on Kevin Durant's direction. How close do you think he was after Al signed in Boston to come to Boston, Katie? It was possibility. Do you think he could have ended up in Boston, and what would that have done?
Well, I think that he was one the Celtics were, among the last couple of teams he was making the decision on. And all you need to know now in those situations is that you're actually at the party. You're not outside looking in, the window. You're actually in the door. So you might get the pretty girl she might be in. So I look at it from the Celtics standpoint as a very good sign. And even with Horford's signing is a real good thing for the C's, because they have never got a player in his prime as a free agent. Now, is Horford in his prime? Maybe just kind of at the peak of the heel, kind of looking over, but that's the same thing that happened with Kevin Garnett when he came to Boston. He was kind of on the other side, kind of looking down the hill, looking into the valley, but it gave him opportunity to play with a bunch of great players and really to solidify himself to win the championship.
Yeah, and at least with Horford, he's starting to alter his game. He's moved out. He's hitting some three-point shots, so I think he's realizing at the age of 30 he can't quite do what he used to do, and I think your assessment is spot on. He's at the back end of his prime, but he's obviously still good. And I don't really know how to position this other than just straight up ask you, so I'll do it. Historically, Boston has not been kind to the black athlete, and at least that's been the perception. Going back to Jim Rice, listen, you lived it, you know it. Does that still exist within the young black athletes? Do you think they look at Boston as a city that they just don't necessarily want to go to?
I would say absolutely not. And the reason I say that is because, and this is the reason I say that, and this is the real strange thing about it. Boston Celtics have never gotten a free agent. And, this is one of the first. And they've never gotten a black free agent in their prime basketball-wise. But in baseball, Carl Crawford came to the Red Sox. The Patriots always get young players who are of color who go there and play. The Celtics have been their only team. And traditionally, the Celtics were the first team to have five black players who started. They had the first black coach. They had the first black player. So, I don't know, how I can answer. I'm answering the question in the way that I'm giving you all these details, but it just makes me kind of scratch my head. And I'll say this. When I got drafted here in 1977 by the Celtics, it was the last place I wanted to come.
Yeah.
Not because it was me being black, but it was because the next team that was picking was Atlanta, and I was really from Charlotte, North Carolina, so I wanted to go to Atlanta instead of Boston.
That's funny. And you're biased down there, obviously. You won 2 championships and Finals MVP. They retired your number at Boston. I mean, so you're good there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you were black or white in Boston. Cedric?
If you win championships and you're able to do that with the kind of players I played with, It's absolutely amazing. And to be a Finals MVP and be out on the floor in 1981 with 7 Hall of Famers, and to be the MVP, that's a big stone. Something they can never take from me. It's like if I go to a room and it's me and Michael Jordan and LeBron and Curry and all these people, we're all walking in MVPs of the Finals. They'll probably stop me and go, who are you?
Yeah. And you say, I belong. Don't worry. I belong.
Here's the resume to prove it. Now get out of my way.
Yes.
Cornbread, good catching up, good rapping, man. Enjoy the rest of the summer, and I know we'll be chatting during the season. Thanks, buddy.
Have an excellent one.
Be good, Cedric.
A good man right there, Cornbread. Good play.